This girl was trying to put on makeup, but upon seeing that, her mother forced her to take it all off. She disagreed, only for her mother to slap her. "You are not a girl. You are a boy." And that was the last time Ra-on got to wear female clothing, living as a man from then on. To earn money, she offered to write love letters for rich young masters. But one time, a letter is unexpectedly addressed to the princess and discovered by the crown prince. Worried that his sister will get tricked, the crown prince left the palace and came to the meeting spot on behalf of the princess. Unfortunately, the rich young master was also afraid of meeting the princess, and so asked Ra-on to go in his place. Ra-on came to the spot and took off the blind, only to discover an extremely handsome guy. Thinking that the rich young master liked men and so was scared, so she said, "I only have one purpose. That is, to dedicate my entire humble heart to you." The crown prince was very confused. He dragged Ra-on under a tree and threatened her with his dagger. Turns out, he already knew Ra-on was a fake that didn't even know who the letter was for. Ra-on still tried to retain her calm, and offered to take him to the writer. She spotted an animal trap, however, and promptly kicked the crown prince down the hole. Unfortunately, he managed to grab Ra-on, sending both under the pit. Angered, the crown prince tried to strangle Ra-on's snake. And there was actually a snake. The crown prince was scared and started screaming. But Ra-on managed to kill the snake. To get out, Ra-on asked for the crown prince to lift her up, and promised that she would find a rope to get him out too. Thinking that she was telling the truth, the crown prince followed what Ra-on said and got her out. But Ra-on was no good man, and told the prince that people will eventually find him.
너, 내가 감히 누군지 알고 있다 이제.
Yes, if we ever meet again, I will do whatever you want. I will even be a dog. I will agree to all your demands. She even kicked down more grass before running away. This asshole, yeah. Return immediately. After returning, Ra-on discovered that the couple she match-made before was a noble madam and a servant, and they had run away together. Now, she was a wanted criminal. Yoon-sung, who was next to Ra-on, immediately recognized that Ra-on was wanted. To not be discovered, Ra-on stuck a huge mole onto her face. But before cops could come, Yoon-sang pulled Ra-on close to him. "Come here, why were you just standing there?" Yoon-sang managed to save Ra-on from getting caught. Ra-on thanked him and left. Unexpectedly, she got captured by a strange man soon after. In the evening, Yoon-sang came to the brothel to paint. He had long realized that Ra-on is no man. "No matter what you are wearing, I'll always recognize you as a girl." Ra-on was sold to the palace to be an eunuch. The sharp knife got her deadly scared. The man waved his knife, and the next morning, Ra-on lay on the mattress bleeding in the groin. The man thought he had done the deeds, but Ra-on had actually used a broken shard of glass and slashed her leg to trick him. This is not all of her problems, however. That night, Ra-on thought about the body inspection test. Worried that she would be discovered, she tried to sneak out of the palace. Unfortunately, she ran right into the approaching crown prince. "Who are you?" Ra-on looked up and saw the man. Just a couple days ago, she had abandoned him and even promised to be his dog. The crown prince smiled sadistically. Ra-on tried to run, but the prince stopped her. "Nice to see you again, dog." Ra-on mistook the crown prince as a guard due to his clothes and tried to butter him up. Unfortunately, he saw her sachet and knew she was trying to sneak out. Ra-on begged the guy to slap her and get things even. The crown prince raised his hand, only to pat her on the head. "I wouldn't hit a little puppy. I would love it, protect it, take it out on walks. We will see each other a lot from now. Go, little puppy." And so, Ra-on's plans to leave had been ruined by the crown prince. The next day, the head eunuch told them that to become an eunuch, one must pass 3 tests. First is body inspection. Ra-on was planning to escape, but she ran into a big guy that dragged her in. When it was her turn, Ra-on was sweating profusely. Thankfully, a messenger came, saying that the queen had fainted and asked for the judge to leave. Rushed, the judge dropped his seal onto Ra-on's paper, right on the edge of pass and fail. It's more pass than fail. And so Ra-on got through the inspection. The crown prince was walking by and spotted Ra-on lining up. If she failed the second round, she would be kicked out of the palace, but the crown prince saw right through her. He traded clothes with the eunuch and pretended to be a judge. Meanwhile, Ra-on was rolling her brush to guess the answer. Suddenly, a hand appeared and turned her brush the other way, then held up 3 fingers. She turned around and saw the crown prince. The answer is number 3. What are you doing here? After that, whenever Ra-on randomed, the prince appeared and told her the correct answer, even forcing her to get them right. Redo it. That's good, submit it. Pass. This eunuch was on the roof trying to catch a chicken, but the chicken suddenly flew, sending Ra-on tumbling down. Fortunately, a guy caught her from below. The guy turned out to be Yoon Sang, the son of the head minister. Ra-on tried to get down, but Yoon Sang refused to let her. Did you really fall? Lightning? Turns out, he was cursing at the sky to strike down lightning, only for Ra-on to drop right into his hands. He was shocked to hear that Ra-on was an eunuch, for he knew she was a girl. Are you really an eunuch? An eunuch is not a real man. Are you planning to say that? No. Then why do you keep looking at me? Isn't it illegal to have an eunuch this beautiful? Ra-on still tried to act like a guy, and Yoon Sung humored her. At night, the crown prince intentionally arranged for Ra-on to stay in this haunted room. The prince's close guard, Byung-yeon, was also staying here. He thought Ra-on was a thief and so knocked her out. The prince arrived too late. The prince and Byung-yeon had some drinks together as Ra-on suddenly woke. She wanted to join. Byung-yeon found it weird that Ra-on drew no limit with the prince, even taking his cup and getting drunk out of her mind. Guard Kim, what should I do with such a wild puppy? Strictly train it, right? Like this? Left, right, down, up, bark. Thinking that the prince was to blame for her predicament, Ra-on bit his fingers. The prince started to scream in pain. This is the first time someone dared to do this to him. Thanks to this event though, the three became close friends. Not knowing who the prince was, Ra-on even badmouthed him, and called him names. Even Byung-yeon cracked up at this. The prince was angered, but still kept his identity a secret. On the other hand, the princess had discovered that Ra-on wrote the love letter and ordered the guard to capture her. It was only then that Ra-on realized the princess got her letter. You dare to write me a fake letter to humiliate me? Someone as lowly as you, dare to look down on me, a princess? Knowing that this is an unforgivable crime, Ra-on begged the princess to spare her life. The princess drew her sword. Ra-on thought this was the end, but the prince arrived in time to stop his sister. Find out what will happen next in our next part.